Jesus and his disciples arrived in Jerusalem, a city buzzing with excitement for Passover. But Jesus had something even more important in mind, a final special supper with his closest friends. He looked at them with deep love, knowing a secret plan was about to unfold. "We need a quiet place for one last meal together," he told them. Though the disciples didn't understand, they trusted him. Jesus sent Peter and John with secret instructions. "Find a man carrying a jar of water. Follow him." This unusual clue would lead them to the right place. Peter and John set off, hearts pounding, searching the crowded streets. The city was alive with smells of food and sounds of laughter. Suddenly, they spotted the man with the water jar and followed him through winding alleys. Two disciples following a man carrying a water jar through a bustling, ancient Jerusalem street. He led them to a large house, the perfect place for Jesus' special supper. They had found it, the room where Jesus would share his heart one last time. The adventure of the special supper was just beginning. The disciples felt a sense of wonder and anticipation. They knew this night would be different from any other. The stage was set for a meal that would change everything. The man with the water jar introduced Peter and John to the house's owner. Our teacher asks, "Where is the guest room for the Passover meal?" The owner smiled as if he'd been waiting for them. He led them up stone stairs, away from the city's noise, to a peaceful upper room. Sunlight streamed in. A long table with soft cushions awaited them. It was a perfect, quiet haven for Jesus and his friends. Peter and John got to work arranging cushions, setting out the special bread, herbs, wine. They wanted everything to be just right for their teacher. As they prepared, they whispered in awe. They were making a room ready for a king, not a king with a crown, but a friend who would soon reveal the biggest secret in the world. The upper room was ready. The table was set for something extraordinary. The disciples felt the weight of the moment. Soon Jesus would arrive and the true meaning of the night would unfold. As evening fell, Jesus and his friends gathered in the upper room. Laughter and warmth filled the air. They were a family, safe and loved. Jesus looked at each friend, knowing their strengths, fears, and hopes. He loved them with an unbreakable, forever love. This meal was about more than food, filling their hearts for what was to come. The disciples, still learning, began to argue about who was most important. They thought greatness meant being first. Jesus saw their pride, decided to teach them a new way, not with words but with action. In that cozy room, he prepared to show them what real love and greatness looked like. It wasn't about being served, but about serving. The lesson would change everything. The disciples didn't know it yet, but they were about to witness true greatness. Jesus was ready to turn their ideas upside down. The real part of the special supper was about to begin. The room grew quiet in anticipation. Jesus was about to show them the heart of God's kingdom. As his friends argued, Jesus quietly stood up and took off his outer robe. He wrapped a towel around his waist, just like a servant. The disciples watched, confused. This wasn't what a king did. Jesus picked up a basin of water, knelt before a friend, washed a dusty foot, washed another dusty foot, the gentle splash of water. This was the lowest servant's job, but Jesus did it with love and care. The room was silent except for the gentle splash of water. The disciples were stunned. Shouldn't they be serving him? When Jesus reached Peter, Peter protested, "You will never wash my feet." But Jesus replied, "If I don't wash you, you can't be with me." Peter, eager to be close to Jesus, asked for even more. Jesus finished washing everyone's feet, including Judas, who would soon betray him. He put on his robe and returned to the table. This act wasn't just about clean feet, it was about clean hearts. Jesus was showing them the true meaning of love and service. He was giving them a living picture of what he came to do. The disciples would never forget this lesson. Jesus looked at his friends and asked, "Do you understand what I've done for you?" If I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you should wash one another's feet. He was giving them a new way to live. True greatness means serving others. In God's family, being great means being a servant, putting others first. Jesus showed that love is action, helping, caring, humbly serving. He was their king, but a servant king. He wanted his followers to do the same, go into the world and show love by serving. It's not about power, but about love. The disciples saw a new kind of greatness that night. Jesus' example would shape their lives forever. The secret to God's kingdom was revealed in a simple act of service. The king had knelt to serve, and he called them to do the same. After the lesson with the towel, it was time for the Passover meal. Every part of the meal told a story of rescue, God saving his people from slavery. But tonight, Jesus was giving the story a new meaning. He was about to rescue the world from sin and sadness. As they ate, Jesus said, "One of you will betray me." The disciples were shocked and saddened. Even in this moment, Jesus was calm. He knew what was coming. He continued the meal, ready to give his friends a gift to remember him. He would take the bread and wine and make them symbols of a new promise. The old story was becoming new. The Last Supper would be a bridge to the greatest rescue of all. The disciples listened, hearts heavy but trusting. Jesus was about to give them something to hold on to forever. Jesus took the flatbread, thank God broke it. He handed pieces to his friends, "Take and eat. This is my body given for you." The disciples didn't fully understand, but they listened closely. The bread was a symbol, a promise of his love and sacrifice. Jesus was telling them his body would be broken for them. Every time they broke bread, they would remember this night. The bread became a sign of his promise. They ate, holding on to his words. The simple act became a powerful memory. Jesus was giving himself completely for their sake. The promise was real. They could taste it. They could see it. The disciples would never forget this gift. The meaning of the meal was forever changed. After the bread, Jesus took a cup of wine and gave thanks. He passed it to his friends, saying, "Drink from this, all of you. This cup is the new covenant in my blood, poured out for you for the forgiveness of sins." The wine was now a symbol of his life, poured out in love. Jesus was making a new promise, one written in love, sealed with his own sacrifice. The disciples drank, accepting the gift. The bread, the wine became reminders of his rescue and love. Jesus gave them a way to remember him, even after he was gone. The special meal would unite them forever. The greatest rescue plan was unfolding before their eyes. The disciples shared the cup, hearts full of wonder. Jesus' love was now a promise they could hold on to. When the meal ended, the room was quiet, hearts were full. Jesus had spoken of leaving. The disciples felt lost and afraid. He comforted them. "Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust in me. I'm going to prepare a place for you. I'll send a helper to be with you always." Then he gave them a new command. "Love one another as I have loved you." Not perfection, but love, serving, humble, sacrificial Jesus gave them the gift of remembering. Through the meal, through his words, through his love. The disciples left changed, holding on to his promise. They didn't understand everything, but they remembered his love. The Last Supper would feed their hearts forever. Jesus' love would guide them even when he was gone. The story of that night would be told for generations. The greatest gift was his love, given for all.